Yeah, I'm in the two fields that deal with, a lot of toxic, like, it's extremes. Like, you have fans who love you and people that hate you. But when you're in the middle is when you're a little bit in trouble as far as like making a business out of what you do, whether it's podcasting, stand-up. If people have no opinion, if they're just lukewarm on you, you sure as hell not get them to come out and spend money on a babysitter and tickets at a show. There's too much podcasting out there, so especially now. When I started, it wasn't like this. Now, if you're just in the middle, you're like, yeah, he's cool. It's going to be tough to make a living, man. So for me, it's the Floyd Mayweather effect where you were either paying to watch Floyd fight whether you loved him or you want to see him get knocked out.
Yes.
But you cared.
Yeah.
You cared. So like when I see, and this is Joe Coy's thing, he's like, man, whenever you see someone, like if they tag you on something and it's hate, that's just promo for you, man.
Yeah.
It's a form of promo. No matter what, if they're making this horrible YouTube video or this Instagram or whatever, it's a form of promo because most people aren't sheep.
Another episode of Adversity Kings. We've got special guest today, Brendan Schaub, and then my man right here, Jay.
It's my little brother Jay.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's go.
He's my manager on the road.
Let's go, bro. So Jay Schaub then?
Yeah.
And you're from Colorado? You guys are both from Colorado. So my top two guys in my company are from Grand Junction, Colorado.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how close that is. It's
a hike.
Yeah?
Yeah, what's it, 4 hours?
At least. It's all the way up.
Yeah, I was just
western border.
Right before I came down, I was just talking to the dude's dad. His name's Justin, and he came out like 2 years ago to work with us out here in Chicago. But they get elk, you know what I mean? They were gonna ship us some elk. So, did you guys do any elk hunting growing up?
Nah, that's at Grand Junction.
That's what he said. Like they're real country.
In Aurora, no, man.
They're real country.
It's more city out there.
Very first thing I had in my notes was the Bobby Lee controversy.
Man, that's how you started.
Dude, I was like, this is the very first thing. I was like,
I mean, there's not much there, brother. It's like, I love Bobby. It's, good comic. Stuff happens. Shit happens. But
1,000%.
It is what it is. We moved on. You know what I'm saying? But nothing but love for Bobby. Shit happens, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go into, I'm going to bounce around all over the place, but comedy career. I always get inspired because getting into insurance, it's not an overnight thing. And I always tell people there's way harder things out there than insurance. Because I look at comedy and I'm like, bro, that's got to be one of the hardest things in the world.
There's definitely hard gigs in comedy though, for sure.
Absolutely. But like, when did you get started and what's the career been like for you?
I played this is like 9 years. About not what are we into? Yeah, about shit.
So like 2014.
Yeah, 2014. I started doing live firing the kids on stage, and then my first like straight up stand up set was at the Comedy Store in 2015, maybe 2014. So yeah, a while now.
Yeah.
It's just a grind like anything else.
Yeah.
1,000 hours like nonstop.
Yeah.
Like in anything worth getting good at takes time, man.
Absolutely.
So it's like
I try to relate everything to jiu-jitsu because I'm like, when I get guys into insurance, even though they don't know jiu-jitsu language, I'm like, I don't know, your first couple of years you just get tapped out by everybody, and then like
similar to jiu-jitsu where you're gonna suck at first. You're gonna be a white belt and you get beat up and it's gonna be tough for a while, and then like jiu-jitsu minimum 10 years to get your black belt.
Yeah. And even then, I think about like I hear a lot of guys. I think John Danaher was on, Lex Friedman episode. I don't know if you saw the little clip they put together, and he was like, "What's it take to get a black belt?" And Danaher's like, "Not much." You know what I mean? I think of that reference because I've gone to different gyms, and there's black belts that like I feel pretty confident with, and then I'll go to like the gym I train at now, and there's blue belts that make those black belts.
Yeah, there's levels
to it at all.
Yeah, like a black belt from John Danaher or Enzo Gracie, it means something, So
a lot different.
I mean, so it's like I'm sure there's other insurance guys, but then there's like insurance guys, like there's black belts, but then there's fucking like black belts, dude.
Patch Bet David, that's a big inspiration for me because
that's my boy. Yeah,
it's the same. I look at all his stuff. I'm like, bro, how can I do that faster? Mm-hmm. Because it's like I guess similar paths. Got into life insurance, then started his own deal.
Yep.
And huge inspiration. But that would be like top tier black belt in the industry.
Correct.
Because I don't feel like anybody else did life insurance to the extent that he did it and kind of created like that
it's
space.
similar, like, also with jiu-jitsu with black belt, I think it's like less than 1% of people that start jiu-jitsu get their black belt.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's consistency and time, and it takes a long time, man. If you're doing it right, like, you might be able to buy one off the internet.
Yeah, I always joke with my coach, I'm just going to buy one off you, bro.
Yeah.
So how much does this cost?
Yeah, which you'll see some celebrities do, It'd be like, Mark Zuckerberg's a brown belt. You're like, but he's been rolling for 2 years.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Next thing I got in here, how do you deal with the hate? You know what I mean? I was like, I personally, I've been over the last 2 years just getting more and more hate, especially being in sales, everything. People look at sales and like, that's a scam.
that means you're doing well, bud.
And I wanted to get perspective from you and just the audience, people getting into comedy, fighting, whatever. Like, how do you deal with the hate?
Yeah, I'm in the two fields that deal with, a lot of toxic, like, it's extremes. Like, you have fans who love you and people that hate you. But when you're in the middle is when you're a little bit in trouble as far as like making a business out of what you do, whether it's podcasting, stand-up. If people have no opinion, if they're just lukewarm on you, you're sure as hell not getting them to come out and spend money on a babysitter and tickets at a show. There's too much podcasting out there, so especially now. When I started, it wasn't like this. Now, if you're just in the middle, you're like, yeah, he's cool. It's going to be tough to make a living, man. Yeah. So for me, it's the Floyd Mayweather effect, where you were either paying to watch Floyd fight whether you loved him or you want to see him get knocked out. Yes. But you cared. Yeah. You cared. So like when I see, and this is Joe Coy's thing, he's like, man, whenever you see someone, like if they tag you on something and it's hate, that's just promo for you, man. Yeah. It's a form of promo. No matter what, if they're making this horrible YouTube video or this Instagram or whatever, it's a form of promo because most people aren't sheep. They don't go, oh man, this whatever troll who made this video, he's right. It's just people have their own opinions. Yeah. So it just comes with territory. I've been doing it long enough now, man, where I'm in the business of, having fans. I've been
it almost sells
traveling
more pay-per-views.
Yeah.
With these fighters that they just want to see you get like ripped up. And I look at the Paul brothers and I'm like thinking to myself, like, should I just start challenging people in insurance to like box or something?
Right?
Yeah. I'm like, bro, these guys are making money. Like at the end of the day, I respect the hustle, even though I like look at it.
My thing's a little different though, because like I think with like Logan and Jake, with like obviously what they're doing, but I think if you were, especially at your age, like people would look at Logan and Jake like, oh, all they get is hate.
Yeah.
Bro, you know how large that dude's fan base is? Like if he walked down the street, he'd shut it down. Yeah. So, but if online it can paint a skewed picture where people think like, oh, that's the most hated guy on earth. Yeah. It's like that guy makes a living off selling things in likability and views. So it's like the Instagram and YouTube, the algorithm's set up for negativity. Absolutely. So we think everything's so negative. Yeah. But those guys sell products, they sell merch, they sell tickets.
Dude, I think Prime, I think they said he did over $1 billion. This year.
Yeah. That company's worth, I think, 3 or 4 billion. I mean,
it's insane. It's insane.
So I think you in this day and age, you just gotta be like, there's hate, but anybody doing anything like that just comes with the territory. Yeah. Absolutely. It just comes with the territory, man.
I had a dude trolling on my TikTok the other day, and it's so funny because I guess he looked up like my driver's license number somehow. He found, I don't know how these, like, it's kind of scary, low key. Like they'll send us our address, like our parents' address and stuff. I'm like, it's kind of freaky. But he looked up my driving record and he's like, you have an unpaid parking ticket. I called up I got like a small lawyer on retainer. I was like, do I have an unpaid? And he like looks like, oh, actually you do. I was like, bro.
Thanks, troll. But thanks, dude.
I know. I was like, I got to go make some content on it. Maybe we'll clip this out and like, $300 unpaid parking ticket.
But you got to realize too, it's like you're obviously a successful dude and you're doing these things. You got to think about, there's no social media when you were getting started. Like when I was a kid, there's no social media. Zero. So think about all the people, especially in sports, when they get somewhere like, man, everyone said I couldn't do it. You'll hear this all the time from Hall of Fame speeches, people that, movie stars, man, they said I couldn't do it. Well, that's the same thing's going on. They said I couldn't do it. Just now it's at a much grander scale because now it's just not your family or your small group of friends where you grew up in Aurora, Colorado or Grand Junction. Now it's the entire world has an opinion. Yeah. Of course they don't think you can do it. Of course they're not going to encourage you to do it. So it's just a much larger audience now, but you just can't listen to it. You just, of course, because, and it's there's nothing wrong with that. People are trying to protect you, like your family. Haters aren't, but it's their own insecurity. Because they would never risk what you've risked at you're young as hell, man.
Yeah.
And you're balling. So that's triggering. Because imagine people at 40 and they're in insurance.
Yeah.
And they see you, and you're in a suit, and you're flying to the Dallas game, you're doing this. That's triggering them.
Yeah.
So it's not you, it's them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1,000%.
That's triggering for them. And you got to be a little bit compassionate about it. Like, the more as I get older, and I have kids, man. So, like, if I see a hater, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, man.
Absolutely.
I get it, dude. I get it, man. But I've taken a lot of risks to get to where I'm at.
100%. That's fire. Think about I feel like every jiu-jitsu gym has like a little bit of an anomaly, and there's this kid at ours that's like 17 and just like manhandles you. So I can feel that like vibe of individuals where they're in the industry or they're different industries, and I look at guys like, I love watching when John Jones tweets or something like that. I don't know who was calling for his belt to get like stripped
Tom
away.
Aspinall.
He did? He said
Tom
something?
Aspinall, because, Tom Aspinall is now the interim heavyweight champion.
Oh, okay.
So because John got hurt,
Yeah.
Tom was demanding they get stripped.
Yeah.
And then John was like, "Hold up, dude."
Yes.
And was like, "Man,"
Just
and
levels.
he just schooled him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "I've been doing this for, I forget how long." He said, like, whatever, 18 years. He's like, "Undefeated. I've seen you before, and now I get hurt and I'm out a year, and you want to strip me of the title?" And literally, Tom was like, "You're right." He's like, "My bad. You're right."
Yeah.
It's like there's levels to it, man.
It's insane. Next piece I had here is maybe one of your favorite pods. Is there one that's like kind of just stuck out to you that you just kind of put something together and you guys got together and just have a phenomenal relationship now?
Which one?
Is there one that comes to mind?
Oh,
like
one of them?
with all the podcasting and just, I know you got a bunch. I
got a bunch. Firing the Kids, the peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Been doing it 12 years now. So
that's where the comedy started for you, right? With Brian Callen, right?
Yeah,
I think it was like 2014.
Yeah, Callen was my mentor in the comedy, him and Rogan. But
how important is that, having a mentor in just all spaces in life?
Everything, especially in comedy. Like, again, and it's just common, nature where people are gonna say, "Don't do it, man. It's too tough."
Yeah.
Same thing, when I was in the UFC, "Don't do it, man. Too tough." When I was gonna get involved in fighting, "Don't do it, too tough." Football, Division I, "Don't do it, too tough." So it's just people trying to protect you, man. So in comedy, I at least had the mentors and Callen especially and Rogan being like, "You can do it, but dude, it's a hustle." I was like, "Never scared to work. Let me know." So I had these mentors, two of the greats, so it's so valuable, man. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so fortunate,
And you're good at football. I was doing research. You were Arena Football League, Utah Blaze.
Utah Blaze had a short stint with the
You were in the
Buffalo
draft
Bills.
too.
Yep,
NFL.
Yeah.
So I was when I saw that, I was like, my boy could ball.
Yeah, play some ball. Yeah,
Let's go, dude.
Football. Yeah, I loved football, man.
And then, are you both alumni from Boulder?
No, I went to.
You went to the rival, dude.
Yeah.
Where's you go?
Colorado State.
Colorado State.
Yeah.
Did they beat Colorado this year?
No, CU won this year.
Okay.
And then when I was there, we never lost to them.
Did you? Have you guys? What do you think about Deion Sanders?
Love him.
Right, he's bringing a lot of money, dude.
Love
I
him.
can't imagine how much money he's bringing to the local
Yeah, they
area.
just signed the #1 offensive lineman in the nation.
For real?
Yeah.
Dude,
that's all they need is a line.
I saw that it was like 3,000 kids or something entered the portal or something.
Yeah, those boys are making money.
Money, dude. What are your thoughts on NIL?
It's weird. I'm conflicted. I'm glad the kids are making money.
Yeah.
But then also, it can't be good for the dynamics of the
I think
team.
it spoils, because it's more, now it goes from like, we'll always hear these great coaches talk about, we play for the team, but now if you're getting a bag,
it's going to be tough.
I'm looking for my bag.
Yeah, so it's like, when I was playing, it's like, let's say the quarterback's making, like Shedeur Sanders making, I don't know, let's say $5 million a year.
Yeah.
And this fat offensive lineman who's from Iowa, who, he's good, but they're not paying his fat ass NIL money.
Yeah.
And he's like broke, so, and Shedeur's pulling up in a, Lamborghini, and meanwhile,
Playing with like an AP on.
yeah, you're in your mom's Kia, know, so I just, it can't be good for the dynamics of the team.
Yeah.
It can't be good. But it's weird because they should be, they're making the school so much money.
Yeah.
So it's not fair that they're not paid, but it's also it's gonna mess up the love of the game. I don't know.
I agree with that as well, and I think also like when I think about the justice system, about like people that are still in jail in relation to marijuana, it makes zero sense to me.
Insane.
But I also think then, because I grew up in Pittsburgh, and then if you know, Terrell Pryor came out of Jeanette, and then his coach was Jim Trussell. And so before NIL, if there was even a hint that you were getting some type of compensation
I know, man.
in college, so
It's
what
true.
about all the guys that lost out on opportunity, coaches that got like just their record and everything?
How about
just
Reggie
shamed?
Bush? Lost his Heisman.
Dude, that's it.
And he took like a Hummer, you know?
300 grand.
You $300,000.
Yeah.
Which is nothing now.
I feel like there should be like reparation. You know what I mean? Like,
It's tough to go back, right?
yeah.
Because what do you do? It's like, you know, it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think about those guys. I don't like thinking like maybe maybe Kim Kardashian will go save everybody.
It's getting weird. Yeah, it's getting weird. I don't know what they're gonna do.
So I was diving into the UFC. You were in. Did it start 2008, 2009?
For me, yeah, probably 2008. I made it to. I was on Ultimate Fighter in 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-5. The one that really caught my eye was two things. You knocked out an absolute vet. I don't know if it was third round. Marco Krokop.
Yep. Croak up. Yep.
Insane. What was the feelings and everything in that fight, bro?
Yeah, he was like a hero of mine. So he's a lot tougher than I thought. Because I thought he was like, oh, he's a little older. I bet I could starch him, you know. And
Yeah.
that was not the case. He was like the toughest fight of my life.
Yeah.
But I knocked him out late in the third. My nose was all busted up. But yeah, I mean, best knockout of my career for sure.
I've heard Rogan talk about having to get his nose fixed and fixing up his airway. Did you do anything like that? You know,
Yeah, I don't know if Rogan did it because he did like taekwondo or karate, whatever, when he was younger.
Yeah.
Mine was like shattered from an elbow from Mirko Krokop.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think our noses are a little different, but yeah, I think he may not have had a deviated septum. My shit was like shattered.
Just busted.
Yeah, from an elbow. It was a disaster, yeah.
So, and I always hear Rogan bring it up, and it doesn't make sense to me either. When like you can't knee on the ground in the UFC, but the elbows, the knees, you know what I mean? Like
you just
I'm
can't
thinking
throw
to myself,
12 to 6 elbows downwards. It's all old school stuff.
yeah,
Old
but
school
then
stuff.
then I look at this is horrible. Who's the absolute legend, smaller dude that went over to the different
Mighty Mouse?
what is
Demetrius
it?
Johnson?
Yeah, Demetrius Johnson. Yeah, but then he gets head kicked, gets knocked out, and
Because
then
he went to one championship, so different set of rules.
yeah, dude. That's it now.
But to be honest, a lot of those rules, like the no knees to down opponent, the 12-6 elbows, all that is so people could consume it and not think of it as human cockfighting.
Yeah.
Like that was just so people, especially at the time, would get on board and
Yeah.
it did its job.
Yeah.
They got to package it so that everybody's not terrified. Like
Yeah.
you allow soccer kits and all these crazy
Yeah, the
things.
sports boards or whatever they talk.
Yeah, the commission and all that stuff. Like it's gonna be, like you're not getting the sponsor, so
Yeah.
I understand why they do it.
I heard Dana say something like he doesn't even like when guys start scuffling during like the show off or whatever, because he said the sports commission
He's full of shit.
For real?
Yeah, it's good for the sport, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's good for pay-per-view. Now, he's doing exactly what he should be doing as the president of the company.
Okay, yeah.
He's like, we don't like this, we don't condone this.
Good politics.
It pleases, yeah, it's politics.
Yeah.
But as far as like Connor throwing the dolly,
Yeah.
dude, that must be the most viral clip of all time to sell a fight.
Yeah, dude.
DC John Jones at the press conference in Vegas, you know, at MGM, they're fighting. That went viral.
Yeah.
Khabib jumping out of the octagon against Conor,
Insane.
viral. So all that sells pay-per-view. So
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm saying he's playing politically correct.
Yeah.
And that's so annoying. We hate when that happens. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Like, of course, people love that beef.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any power slaps?
I haven't.
No?
But here's the thing. I make fun of it. I especially when it's first popping, I clown it. But when you see what they're doing, like Dana and his team is brilliant. Like the younger audience, they don't have the attention span to watch a complete UFC
Yeah.
card. It's just, you know, young people are crazy. So he's just breaking up into small consumption, shorter
Yeah.
time span. So online and Twitter and TikTok and whatever else, it's crushing it.
Yeah.
So he's navigating towards that. Everybody I know, like legit people that I trust, their opinion, like, dude, I get online, it looks absolutely stupid. In person, this thing's lit.
Yeah.
Like in person, this thing's so much fun.
I ran into him at the Red Rock Casino, got an invite, kind of sold out. I feel like I'm not as the bigger influencer like some of these guys like Steve will do it, anything like that. But dude in person was humble, awesome. Like it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I heard it's cool, and some of the slap fight guys have reached out to me. Like I have no issue with them. It's just insane, you know. It's like it's just tough.
I wonder what the long-term side effects will be because
I'll tell you.
The CT. I'm looking at their faces swelling.
Yeah, this one isn't that hard to figure out.
Dude, I'm just thinking. I'm like, at least like I feel like, you know, UFC, like
there's more skill involved with UFC, and you can at least defend yourself. And like, there's defense involved.
Like,
there's no defense.
Dude, I'm looking at like this one girl's face, and it's just like out there, and I'm like, how's your face?
Yeah, the
when
the girls do it's tough to watch. I don't know. You know, TBS took it off the air because it was just people were like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Yeah.
So there's a lane for it. I could see a lawsuit. I bet those contracts are so ironclad because CT, yes, like it's happening. Like you're watching it every single time. So
just straight brain damage every time.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Every time.
Yeah.
That's insane. The Darce choke, I was talking to you about that last night. Darson, Matt Mitrione,
yeah. He's my buddy. Yeah, that's my boy, yeah.
Dude, and you said you were the first heavyweight.
First one to do it, yep.
To hit the Darce.
Yep, the Darce.
I don't see many Darces just hit in general. I had Bryce Mitchell on a month or two ago.
He's a great guy.
Love him. We're both from Arkansas. And he hit the twister. You know what I mean? I absolutely hate the 10th planet type move. At least it happens to me. And I was talking to him just about subs and different things like that, and seeing these twisters. I think there's only been 3 in the UFC, but I'm thinking about Darces, and then you have the Darce brothers. I call them the Darce brothers, but Rutolos. I know one of them's definitely known for Darce chokes.
Yep.
And just jiu-jitsu in general. So where'd you start your jiu-jitsu career, and then where'd you get the black belt?
Started jiu-jitsu in Aurora, Colorado at high altitude. It's Nate Marquardt's gym.
Okay.
So Nate, you're younger, but Nate was like MMA royalty, UFC royalty, was a Strikeforce world champion, Pancreas world champion.
So he fought UFC when like you could just punch wherever.
No, he fought in Pancreas where it was like no holds bar, and then he went to Strikeforce, became world champion there, beat Tyrone Woodley, and then he went from there to the UFC, fought Anderson Silva. He actually lost the middleweight championship against Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
But he was always like top 6 guys in the world. But in Colorado, he was basically our John Elway for MMA.
Yeah.
So I went to his gym, started there, and then slowly went from there. Met Amal Easton, who's a Renzo Gracie black belt. So I started training with Amal Easton and Elliot Marshall and Christian Allen there, and then would go out to Renzo's.
Yeah.
And then really I was about 3-stripe brown belt there, and then when I moved to LA, I started training with Henner and Huron Gracie. Mm-hmm. So I started with them with a high brown belt.
Yeah.
And then just kept doing it, and then got my black belt.
Is Bravo close to LA?
Bravo's super close.
Yeah?
Yeah, me and Eddie, we've never rolled together. I've never been a 10th Planet guy. I've always been Renzo.
Yeah.
Renzo, Henner.
But you've definitely probably done some content and stuff with Eddie, right?
We do the fight companion together.
Yeah. So what's that like?
It's like me, Rogan, Brian, and Eddie. Me love.
And you started doing your own fight companion too for some of the fights.
That was Rogan's idea.
Yeah.
Because when he moved to Austin, literally that fight companion's the funnest show me and Rogan do. We've talked about it's our funnest time. It's just the boys hanging out.
Yeah.
And then when he moved to Austin, he was just like, dude, I'm busy, and then I think at the time Spotify didn't have the live capabilities, which they don't really now, but he didn't know if he could still do it on YouTube, so he's like, dude, I'm just too swamped, like I can't do it. He's like, you do it. I was like, all right, but and I enjoy doing it, but it's not the same when I'm with the boys.
The OGs.
Yeah, the OGs. It's just not the same. So I don't do them as much, but so we're doing more with Rogan now. Yeah.
How long is like a full UFC like event? Like when I see Rogan and when he'll pick some of like obviously the major cards he'll do, is he like there from 8 till midnight?
From the prelims?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they're there from basically 4 to 1 a.m.
That's insane.
Like the prelims start sometimes, so he's probably there at the arena at 2.
Yeah.
He's probably there from 2 p.m. to midnight or 1 p.m., 1 a.m.
I know it's forever away, but what freaks me out is thinking about Buffer not announcing fights, like not being there, or like Rogan not you know, retiring from doing that, or Dana White retire. Like, I don't know what would happen to the UFC if those three, even one piece of the, like, it would just. I feel like that's a 25% hit to the overall company. More, like minimum.
Because when you think of the UFC, like fighters are interchangeable.
Yeah.
They retire, they circle through them, they cycle through them. But no matter any given night, the most famous people in that arena are not fighters.
Yeah.
It's Dana White and Joe Rogan.
Absolutely.
So when those guys leave, that'd be a major hit. It's not like other leagues, man. It's not like other leagues where it's Roger Goodell leaves. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Or Silver leaves and the NBA, like, all right, whatever. But the UFC, it's different, man. Rogan and Dana are the lifeline of that organization.
I went to a Bellator fight and sitting up front cost like $200, and I was like,
different.
Yeah, dude, you're not sitting up front at UFC.
No, sir.
Without one, there's not even almost like a price on it. I feel like you got to be boys with people to really get up there.
Especially now,
it's like,
if it's at MSG or something like that.
Yeah, because I think I heard Dana recently on the Nelk where he was like, he'll look. And he'll have to make adjustments if somebody will hit him up and like, if Connor's like, I want to slide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he'll adjust. And I'm like, dang, dude, I couldn't imagine spending $10,000 and like getting a text from Dana and be like, hey, we had to adjust your seat. Here's your money back. Like that's how like powerful you know, they are, and they think they don't need
they're all
the money.
Sorry, Jared Leto and his hoes took your seat. You know? Like, why did I pay $20,000? Like everyone care about
Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson, and who's the frog dude? What? Alex Jones.
Yeah, frog dude.
Frog. There's just gay frogs everywhere. That's awesome. UFC 296. I wanted to pull up some of the because I just had a Ultimate Fighter, dude.
296. Oh, this
next one. That's
a good one.
I wanted to see some of your picks. So let me pull up here. And I know 297. They got Strickland fighting. I say his name wrong.
DDP. What do you call him? DDP.
DDP.
Yep.
What do you think that's going to be the outcome of that?
That out of all the fights, that's the toughest one to call.
Yeah.
Best fight that they've announced this year.
It's insane.
Yeah, coming up. Yeah, that's a tough one.
So, Shavkat Rakhmonov or Stephen Thompson.
Oh man, I love Wonder Boy, but that's a tough fight for him.
Yeah. Is Stephen Thompson? Is he the one that was it him that broke, or was that where he fought through breaking the wrist? Was that Hooker?
It's probably both of them. They're both freaking savages. But Wonder Boy, he's the karate, kickboxing world.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a freak. Call him Wonder Boy, but he's 40, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's insane.
Yeah, he's a monster. Shavkat's a tough fight for him.
I'm really excited about this one. Pantoja or Royval? I had
Royval's a Denver boy, so I'm going Royval.
That's what I had. Dude's name's Mondo Gutierrez, and he fought on Connor's team. He didn't make it past the first round, but he's a solid dude. But he said he's training with Royval. Royval, he said,
savage,
yeah, like all-around fighter, good all-around fighter.
Now Pantoja's story is cool though, because
sick story.
Yeah, his story. Yeah, he was like driving for Uber in Brazil, even though he's a UFC fighter.
Yeah,
that thing's a little dicey. Like the news came out and they tried making it like, oh, he's in the UFC professional fighter and he has to drive for Uber. But he fought once in 3 years, dude.
Yeah,
it's like it'd be like you sell insurance. You're upset you're not making money, but you're not selling insurance.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing stand-up. I'm like, man, what the hell? They don't pay me enough. They're like, yeah, but you're not on the road working. So that's a little dicey there. That was the headline on that, but yeah, he world champion.
What about Edwards or Covington?
Oof. Love Colby. Colby's my boy. I'm a little worried that he's had such a long layoff.
Yeah,
a long layoff.
In a while.
Is it for 3 years?
Yeah,
long layoff. So, it's a tough fight for him, man.
That one's insane.
Leon Savage, yeah. Best fight on that card is Ian Gary Vicente Luque.
Now Ian Gary's got some crazy stuff going on.
That's why and also this fight in Ian Gary's career is like, this is it. This is like life changing.
Yeah.
If he goes out there and head kicks Vicente Luque with everything going on, he ignores all the noise.
Yeah.
If he loses, the trolls get bigger. The pile starts coming. Because right now he's the focal point of MMA for, personal reasons. So it's like, he's a young fighter. And he's the most talented fighter on that card.
Yeah.
Ian Gary's a freak, dude. Freak. So if he has all this pressure on him, but if he can beat Vicente Luque, all that goes away. And then he gets on the mic, rips some hot promo. Like, this is like make it or break it for him.
That's insane. Now, as a fighter, when you're going through that level of like just insane.
I've never had to go through what this dude's dealing with. Like, he's dealing with like an onslaught of
You're
like,
in his corner.
The
What
entire community.
what are you telling, dude?
And I do think he's this special of a fighter. I think he's going to use his fuel, and he's going to take it out on Vicente Luque.
Yeah. Do you think you can take it too far? I was asking guys this because I feel like amateur fighters or like somebody like myself, like someone that hasn't been in a bunch of fights, I feel like most men, we have this mindset of like, I'll just black out and I can beat everybody. But when you watch a pro fighter, they're pretty emotionally poised. You're dapping up between rounds, very strategic, very tactical.
Yeah, there has to be a level of respect.
So, do you think that's vital at the highest level, or do you think sometimes? Because I watch Strickland, I'm like, he don't really seem always that poised. He seems like a psycho, like he's like just out there.
But that's got him in trouble, right? Like when he got knocked out by Alex Pereira, it was like an emotional. It wasn't using his brain, wasn't sticking to the game plan. He gets starched.
Yeah.
So I think for Ian Gary, people realize how this kid's special, man. He's a freak.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be able to use this and channel it and turn it into magic, turn it into gold.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, it's a sad story.
Absolutely.
It's a sad story. But I think he's going to be able to channel this in a good direction.
Yeah.
It's like Connor with the Jose Aldo stuff. He's talking so much trash.
Yeah.
And Jose came out real emotional and got starched.
Just
I think this is going to be like a defining moment in Ian Gary's career. Absolutely. One way or the other. If he loses, it could get weird.
Absolutely.
If he wins, I just think he keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I wanted to go over some of these nicknames. Big Brown, the Hybrid, the Sting, Bappa. What's your favorite? Where'd these come from?
Bappa is probably my favorite. That one's just, trolls and fans, and eventually just took a life of its own. Thick Boy came from Mark Norman. He called me Thick Crust.
Yeah.
He's like, Thick Crust, what's up? Whenever he called me, Thick Crust, what's up, Thick Crust? And so that Thick Boy came from that. Big Brown came from actually Brian Callen. He just called me, he's like, you're big, you're brown, and then they took on, and I was fighting at the time, so in the UFC, but I was doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So the fans, like, demand I changed my name to Big Brown because Brian called on the show.
Yeah.
So then the UFC actually was like, hey, do you want to change your nickname? So you'll see Bruce Buffer being like, Brendan, Big Brown, Schaub, which is insane.
Yeah.
Then started from this small studio and changed my nickname.
Yeah.
Hybrid came from the producers of The Ultimate Fighter because I was a smaller heavyweight, but they said I moved like a lightweight. So like, oh, he's like a hybrid of a heavyweight, lightweight. And it came from them.
That's insane.
And remember, when the nickname Hybrid at the time was before all those gay Priuses came out.
Yeah.
So it was like cool.
Yeah.
But then the Hybrid name.
Yeah.
Then Toyota's like, oh, it's a Prius. I'm like, ah, man.
Yeah.
So I changed my
Lumped
name.
in.
Yeah, I'm out, dude.
Through my research, I was seeing on December 6, 2014, Rogan and Brian advised you to maybe start to taking on comedy.
Yep.
Retire. What was that day like? What was that all like for you?
I mean, it caught me a little off guard, but it's also like that's how close of friends they are,
Yeah.
And when we did it, I had no idea. We were just going to go do a podcast like we've done a million times. And then, Rogan did that. I think for some people, it was like, I can't believe Rogan did that. And even some people close to me said he did that. But in hindsight, like, worked out.
Yeah.
Like me and Rogan were talking about the other day, I'm like, dude, think if I just like became like a drug addict or something after that intervention. And like it wasn't what I became now. Like we're talking about a different story, man.
Dude, I think about that with a lot of athletes in general, like because the NFL, you got the not for long, but I feel like that's just the broad athletes in general that get to that professional level.
That's every level though, brother. Like insurance, if you're doing a high level stand up, like there's some great comedians who are headliners and now they're doing small clubs or they can't do the road anymore or the NFL pro, like at a high level when you're functioning at a high level, consistency is very tough.
How can you keep it? What are your thoughts on like when you reflect on life of like just staying relevant and staying on a trajectory of up versus you've seen guys that maybe fought or did better or had better opportunity, but now they're maybe not.
I think in any career, like there's ups and downs, and you just got to stay consistent. You got to keep the same work ethic no matter what. Like I've had ups and downs. Like finding the kid, before everyone, their aunt had a podcast, we were one of the few doing it, the biggest in the world. Yeah. And then things happen, it goes down, then it goes back up, it goes down, or ticket sales certain cities. One time you're selling 3,000 tickets, next time you're selling 1,000. So it's like, it's just, you got to roll the punches, man. You just keep going.
Absolutely. I think about that a lot, just in general, in regard to success. You know, just looking at other individuals, trying to identify like what they take.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think it's just part of the business. You know, there's no one that you can only ride so high. You can only go too high, because you're gonna come down. Everybody comes down.
Yeah.
So I think it's finding a balance and being smart and realizing that it's gonna happen. Like you can't, you just can't ride that high for too long. Nobody does it. Nobody does it. So I just think you know, you just gotta adapt and, you know, do different things, but as long as you're consistent, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Reminds me of one of my favorite. I wrestled for 2 years, and 1 year was in Arkansas, and I was a dog with the head toss. And then when I came up to Western Pennsylvania, I was absolute, like, it was completely different wrestling. Arkansas, I don't know what it was like. I must have been like wrestling like
Pennsylvania. Those boys can wrestle,
Pennsylvania, bro. I mean, like, you try to head toss somebody, they step in front and hip toss you, and you know what I mean? They roll through the head toss.
They're basically like the Dagestanis of America.
Insane, dude, insane. And it just put things into perspective of just life, of like, there's just different areas of life and different places that you go. But it for me, I think of, and I'll tie it into the UFC. I heard a stat that said 90% of UFC champions have a wrestling background.
Correct. Yes.
So how vital do you think that is?
I mean, you got to realize if you have a wrestling background, you can dictate where the fight goes.
Yeah.
Like you have no, like if you're just a striking specialist, if you're just a striking specialist, you only have one way to win.
Yeah.
Wrestlers, they can dictate where the fight's going to take place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, if I was a coach or if my son wanted to get involved in fighting, wrestling would be the first thing I put him in.
Absolutely.
It's also the toughest. I think it's the toughest aspect
hardest
of
thing.
Mixed martial arts to learn.
Yeah.
To actually come up with a wrestling background, it's tough. Man.
Yeah. To roll for a live hour is way different than wrestling for a live hour. It's way different.
Yeah, wrestling's mentally and physically the toughest thing you do.
Way different. There's a really good wrestling program that I'll go out once a month and just roll around with some of the guys, but it's Izzy style wrestling. I don't know.
I know Izzy. I used to work with him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's out of Chicago.
Yeah. So he's like 15 minutes from my office.
Yeah, I wrestled with Izzy. I was with Izzy when I would go to Jackson's, then he would come to Denver.
Yeah.
You tell Izzy I said, what's up? I love that guy.
Yeah, I will for sure.
Yeah, he's the man. Brilliant.
Dude, I thought like,
he doesn't get enough credit.
Bro.
He flies under the radar, but if you look who he's worked with, he's Jones. But he's been his guy from the jump.
Dude.
So that's how I met him.
I got my first like match in with him like a month ago, and I'm looking at him. I got the young ego. I'm like, I've been rolling for 3 or 4 years at 10th Plan, and I'm like, I'm sufficient at like leg mounts. Bro, smashed me.
Izzy's a freak,
Smashed.
man.
I'm sitting there like getting beat up by this, you know, he's probably like mid-30s, maybe early 40s, and I'm sitting there like about to throw up, and I'm like,
he's a guy who's always like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And God bless him. We need more people like that. Like he doesn't want the shine or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Dude, a really humble dude, because he just lets me come in. You know what I mean? And he's got like D1, like top of the top tier dudes. He's like, yeah, just slide by.
Yeah, he's the man.
Doesn't charge me.
No, he's the man.
Come on in, bro.
He's the man.
Every time I come in, he's just giving me a bunch of gear.
Yeah.
I just walk around with Easy Style, and it's kind of dangerous because like somebody will walk up with cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, nah, dog, I'm not like.
Yeah,
I'm
I wonder
not like that.
Because Bilal Muhammad's out of Chicago. I wonder does he work with Izzy? It'd be smart if he did.
I don't know if he does. I ran into him at Bellator.
Bilal's a great guy. You know Bilal?
I just ran into him, dapped him up, and I was like, hey, brother, I'd love to do some work with you.
One of the best, yeah.
Yeah, really nice dude, man. Like, some guys will just walk past. But
no, Bilal's
he was
the
nice.
best. Yeah,
he was real nice. And he was with, there's a big brand popping up around here, and they're working with all fighters, Young LA. Are they based out of here?
It's Young LA, but based out of Chicago?
Is it based out of Chicago?
No, they're based out of LA.
They're based out of LA?
Yeah.
That sounds so stupid. I would say that.
I would hope they're,
One of the co-owners lives here.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Tiger Thick Whiskey. How's that?
It's great. It's great. We'll have some news on that. I did that. We probably started working on it about 5 years ago. By the time it came to market, just dealing with like liquor licenses and
that's gonna be insane.
Oh, dude. It was like if you watch the show Yellowstone, it's like that. How it's all territorial. It's like it's liquor's old school, man. So it was a beast. It was a beast. And
it's pretty big because I've seen Tiger Thick Whiskey. I'm not a drinker, but I've seen Tiger Thick Whiskey.
Yeah, it's all about distribution and getting it out there, and then not putting yourself out there too much and not being able to supply the demand. So we had some big news when it comes to Tiger Thick soon. Yeah,
let's go.
I'll let you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The TRX I'm obsessed with. I have a Black Widow. I went in to get my truck 2 years ago. And Black Widow's right there. It's 10,000, 15,000 less MSRP than the TRX beside it. I basically stay at my office like 24/7. There's not, like, I'm not garaging the vehicle. The dude says if you're not garaging this, it's the #1 most stolen engine in Chicago.
Correct. Well, if you have a Hellcat engine, especially in a TRX, it's 300% more likely to get stolen over any other car.
Yeah, so I was like,
and they had the head of Mopar. They're asking about it. They're like, "What's your suggestion?" He's like, "Don't park it outside." I'm like, "Hey man, that doesn't work for me, dude."
I was like,
You know why it is? It's the key fob.
Yeah.
Mopar Dodge went cheap on the key fob.
I heard they do like some
if you can replace
thing.
like a BMW or Porsche key or Mercedes, they're expensive.
Yeah.
That Mopar's like $40 to replace. So it's a cheap technology.
Yeah.
So these thieves have the ability to just download your data that goes back and forth.
Yeah.
The communication. So yeah.
Dude, but the TRX, dude, I love watching yours is completely like modded out.
Yeah, we turned into one of the first. I think there's some other guy who did it, but we're right up there. One of the first to convert it to the Demon TRX.
Insane.
So the Demon 170 was the Challenger that Mopar did. So this is the truck version.
So
of
how much horsepower do the wheels?
We'll be by the end of January. We will be around 1,300.
Now, are you just tracking it, or are you like to daily it?
No, I daily it. That's my
sweet.
daily driver. It's so violent. It's so loud.
Dude, that is so sweet.
I put Chris D'Elia and Eric Griffin and Callan the other day and took them to lunch.
Yeah.
And I floored it, and they were just like, "This isn't for." They were such bitches about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is not for me. I'm like, I don't know if it's for anybody.
Dude,
it's the best.
This is such
obsessed with it.
This is such a kid question because this is my like immaturity. Is there a train horn in it? Would you ever do something like that?
No, it's so loud. It doesn't
do anything else.
The exhaust is so illegal. It's so loud.
That's insane. I'm surprised Cali don't crack down on you. Like, your emissions is like going crazy or something.
I think where I'm at, and I'm also smart around like cops, and also my father-in-law was a cop for 30 years.
Oh,
so
yeah. You got that secret badge that you
we'll figure it out.
I get pulled over with my buddy. He's got a 720S. I swear to God, I look at him. I'm like, every time we get pulled over, he's like, "Oh, my dad was a cop." I'm like, "Oh, your dad was a cop." You know what I mean?
They're cool. Also, you gotta realize cops they're dudes, man. They love cars and shit.
I've never had an issue.
There's also bigger problems to deal with. Instead of it's not like if some young kid racing around the city at 100 miles an hour on this TRX. Like, I'm smart about it. They know this, and they love it.
Even when I have been racing around and being stupid, I've never had an issue because my parents, growing up in the South, it was always yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. And so I feel like if you're just respectful, I've never ran into, I agree there's like nutty people out there, bad apples out there, but I feel like just genuine general advice being mixed. People are like, "Oh, this is happening, that's happening." But
it's the energy you're putting out, man.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'm always
100%.
like, "Officer, what can I do?" You know, it's like, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know, so I think also, again, even though they're cops, it's their job. Like, they're dudes. So, like, I got pulled over one time in one of my cars, and he's like, "This thing is sick, man."
Yeah.
He's like, "Dude, you're going 5 over." And I was like, "Oh, 5 over." And he's like, I want to see the engine, man. Can you pop the hood? I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I can."
That's sick.
And he was like, they're cool.
Yeah.
Especially when they're car guys, like, it's dope.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I had a straight piped F-Type like 2 years
Sick.
ago. And they're already like really loud. I got pulled over and it was matte purple. And cop pulls me. He's like, "What do you do for work?" I'm like, "Just insurance." I think I was going like 40 over or something. Like, I had to call the lawyer or something. But he was really cool. And I was just respectful. I ate the ticket. It's like $300-$400.
Yeah, the more I get into cars, like now at this, the
great one.
Toontown. Yeah, so I got the Generation 2 2004 Lightning. And getting more into cars, like that's I think if I was younger, I'd struggle a lot more with it. But it's like a patience thing. Car stuff takes a while. It's not like what I do. I'm impatient and I want instant gratification, and it has to get done.
Yeah.
The car business doesn't work like that. So it's like we have an issue with the car, and my guy Eddie at Addiction, who deals with it, he's like, "All right, well, we need this part. Comes in Wednesday, and then I'll get around to it on Thursday." I'm just like, "Yeah, could you do it Wednesday, though?" When it comes in, he's like, "No, man, we got others." So it's like, or you think that we map out the content for the show. Things happen.
Yeah.
Like right now, we have a fuel pump issue we can't figure out, and we have these parts coming this week. So the plan was to shoot all this stuff at the track. Now that gets delayed, so it's like figuring that out. It's a new fun challenge. I love it, man. Absolutely love it.
Love whips. That's the biggest thing that's helped grow our insurance companies. People want a sweet life, so I just advocate to guys like, "Hey, listen, pay your taxes, save money for a rainy day, or go get a sick whip because then people are going to want to come sell insurance with you.
That's smart.
Yeah, so that's kind of our
the way I
tactic.
look at cars, my dad said this, like, I remember the first, like, major purchase I made when I was doing comedy and podcasts. It was, like, the first real money I was making. And I've always wanted a Porsche 911, so I bought just your basic Carrera.
Yeah.
And I remember calling my dad, I was like, I don't know, Dad, like, it's this much. And he's like, you've earned it, man. He's like, you work so damn hard. He's like, you're going to drive that every day. And when you get in there, it's going to remind you how far you've made it and how far you want to go. He's like, you're right. So whenever I get a car, it bumps things up to the next level.
Yeah.
I'm never content. It's always like, it reminds you of like, all right, man, let's get to work.
Yeah. Dude, so what's kind of like the dream whip for you? So what do you have right now? You got the TRX, you got what's the gray
The
one
Lightning.
called? The Lightning. What else you got?
I have a Porsche GT2 RS with the white shock package. Yep. The goal for 2024 would be a Dodge Demon 170.
Yeah.
That's the next goal. A Generation 1 Lightning, tricking that thing out would be fun. There's so much I want to do, man.
Yeah.
So much.
And I saw you post on your IG the supercar, something that Drake ordered, the $2.2 million or something.
Yeah, but I don't know if that thing's real. I don't, do you know if that thing's real, Jay?
It's real. They haven't like actually made them yet.
But he's like the first one to get it.
There's a guy by
it's like 3,000 horsepower or something like that?
stupid, dude. But there's a guy that's like 15 minutes from my office, and his car, he has a car collection. Who's the guy, like Jay Leno?
Yeah.
And he's not as old as him, but it's called the Hamilton collection. He's like 40s, 50s. He's got Koenigsegg's, Bugattis, and he was going over some of his car payments, like $40,000 a month. And I'm like, for a car payment?
Nuts. So some of that car stuff, it's nuts.
Insane.
It's nuts. It's an expensive hobby.
But a piece of me, I got an old soul where I just like the Fast and Furious took it way too far with creating 100 movies, but some of those original movies, Fast and Furious movies, where you got the old Challenger, old Charger. I like
That's also what made the Lightning big.
I like
Paul Walker
stuff like
driving that red
Yes.
Lightning,
Yes, I like stuff like that. I know Rogan's got some old whips. I like.
Rogan's some dope
What
cars.
sucks is I just can't I would need to take like a manual driving class. Can you drive a?
I can drive manual. Not like he's
manual.
really good at it.
I was gonna say
I
you
can
guys
do it.
definitely drive manual.
Yeah.
Me,
Most
I'm
kids
ripping someone's. I'm ripping someone's clutch. apart,
Yeah, you're
for
gonna have to
sure.
learn on like a Civic or something before you jump into something, like a 911. But the car business is great, man. I love cars. Absolutely love it.
Stupid, and I feel like it's great to experience it, but also with the market right now, I think also. Some of these guys, we recruited a guy in our business selling Kias. He said he's put people in car payments at like $800, $900 a month with Kias due to the interest rates right now. People aren't getting into cars for like less than like 10%.
Yeah, it's tough.
Mortgage rates are like 8%. The Fed is floating at 5.5%.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, it's not good.
And then next year's election year, so I'm sitting here thinking because I want to buy more stuff, and I'm like, I'm not buying a property in Illinois because I don't like, all the stuff in Illinois, but.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, election year, what's gonna happen?
I know.
And
I know, it's scary, man.
And that's a big thing on why, like, I try to tell guys to train, because like, there's not been a war on American soil in 100 plus something years, 150 plus years. But I always think to myself, like, could someone march into your house and like just have their way with you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just taking everything. Like, I don't know, like, one of the UFC fighters, somebody broke into his house. Was it
Anthony Smith? Yeah, he's a Nebraska boy.
Yeah, Nebraska, dude. I'm thinking, like, dude, you gotta be trained up, ready to go, just in case.
You be trained up, yeah. As far as war goes, I don't know if we'll ever be like invaded here. I mean, with what they're doing with the border, who knows? With all the terrorist that goes on.
Well, I think
as far as war, I think a civil war would be closer to
Civil war is what I think is as well, which would probably not be a good civil war for.
For the left, that'd be
for the people that are like,
enjoy
get rid of guns and let's just have forks.
Yeah, enjoy that. Yeah. All the military's on the right and the cops. So
it would not be a good war. Yeah. And I think if you look at the stats, I think we're like the most armed, like per capita.
Oh yeah.
Like country in the world.
Everyone
it's like insane. Like it's like more guns. It's like 125% going.
It's gonna get ugly. Yeah, it's gonna be like the purge.
It'd be so stupid.
Hopefully that doesn't happen though.
Absolutely, yeah. Election year, Dana White, USADA. This is one of the things I want to wrap up with. Is USADA? Is it just completely like gone now?
The UFC hasn't done a very good job of like telling the fan base like what exactly is going to happen. Part of me as a fan and as a former fighter, two different opinions. As a fan, I'm like, let them juice. Yeah. It's like the baseball, when Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa hitting those home runs, and Barry Bonds. That was the best time ever in MLB.
Yeah.
In the UFC, when you look back, the best time ever, like those Pride days and no testing. as a fighter, and I fought people that tested positive, and I wasn't on stuff. It sucks, man.
Yeah.
So it's a dicey road. As a fan, I'm like, yeah, let him go. But as a fighter and someone who cares about the sport, it's not good.
Yeah, and I've watched. I know Rogan just had Derek More Plates, More Dates on. I'll watch some of his content. He's an absolute genius. But he's basically what he's explained, I believe, is that you can like almost like biohack juice, even when there are programs like USADA in there.
That's where people get it twisted. Is like they think because USADA's there, like that, like just make steroids go away. No, the scientists are always in the drugs are always one step further and step ahead of the testing. Always.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of time, the steroids are always one step ahead. So the scientists are playing the cat and mouse game.
Absolutely.
So if people think the steroids aren't going on, even you saw it, you're out of your mind.
Absolutely.
It's going on, but it's tough, dude, because fighting's different. Because if I'm on steroids, I'm bigger, stronger, my bones are more dense, I punch you in the face, it could change your DNA, the way quality of life for the rest of your life.
Yes.
But like in basketball, like you don't think LeBron's doing shit? He's 38, 39, balling out every night?
Yeah.
That's not normal.
No.
But he should have every right to do that.
Yeah.
If I'm the Lakers, I'm supplying it.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want this guy to play longer?
Yeah.
Play at a high level. It means more money for the organization. So they should, at some form, allow him to do it, especially how far technology's come,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough. It's a weird thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think about that too, because like you get a late armbar escape just from jiu-jitsu or anything like that, or throwing body shots, and I'm like, I'm 25 and I'll feel stuff for a couple days. I'm like, one, not everybody has Yoel Romero genetics. There's not, people aren't just healing their eye bones in a week and like, oh well, let's just go fight. I can do another fight 8 weeks out. There's no way I'm watching a 35-year-old and he's not doing at least some BPC 157, some peptide, something to just boost that recovery.
It'd be tough, especially my son's in baseball. If he got older and he's like, Dad, my arm's sore all the time. Whatever, I got this big, College World Series coming up. If I pitch a no-hitter, I'm going to get a $400 million contract from the Dodgers. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
If you look at Ryan Braun, he does all those steroids, hits whatever, like 60 home runs, signs this mega deal, then gets busted. They still have to pay his ass.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see why you wouldn't do it.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, there was one other piece I wanted to hit on was, and we don't have to talk about it, but the Theo Von. I don't know. I saw a lot of stuff going on social media, which is probably just all
with me and Theo.
Yeah,
that's one of my best friends.
Everything's Gucci.
We're great.
Social media is crazy.
No, yeah. I didn't know there was a thing. What's the narrative?
The narrative is that it was a fallout because it was the King and the Sting, and what was it? And then
King the Sting, and then it's the Golden Hour. Right. No, again, this is social media, but it's the Real Housewives of YouTube. Yeah. So drama is what gets clicks.
Yeah.
I talked to Theo yesterday. He's one of my close friends. My kids call him Uncle Theo.
Yeah.
No, the thing there is, so me and Theo started King and Sting together, and then during the pandemic, he moved to Nashville.
Okay.
And he thought he could just zoom in and do both.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't. He thought he could either zoom in or fly back to LA every week.
Yeah.
And do it. But Nashville's not close, so it was beating him up. And he's like, dude, it's too much. We need to find someone to fill in when I'm not there.
Yeah.
Dalia would always fill in.
Yeah.
And eventually he was just like, dude, I can't do it, man.
Yeah.
And his podcast is massive. So he's like, A, I can't do it. B, I don't need to really do it. I just don't have time to keep flying back and forth. He's like, how about we slip Dalia in there and I'll go do my thing. I was like, all right, say less.
Yeah.
That's it, bro.
It's fire.
Yeah, I love Theo. He's like a brother.
Now, would you move to a no income tax state? Like,
absolutely.
Why are you staying in Cali?
Because my kids.
Okay. You want to finish school up?
The baseball program he's in, the school they're in. We just had a baby girl, so it's eventually, like, I get some stuff in the works where if it happens, I would leave LA,
Yeah. That's insane. I like the cost of living, the eggs, your I'm almost sitting here thinking, like, bro, like,
but remember, I live, like, outside of there.
Okay.
I'm not dealing with the madness.
Okay.
I'm, like, 45 minutes outside the city.
Yeah.
I'm, like, in a little bit of the sticks out there.
Okay.
I don't deal with the madness. When I have to do sets at night, I deal with a little bit, but outside that, like, I'm away from all the chaos.
Yeah, okay. Last question. So what's the future hold for you? I know 2024, want to double down on Toontown, but what else is in the future for you?
Business as usual. I'll have an announcement soon regarding some cool fight news coming out. And then, I got a bunch of other no forks in the fire, and we got some cool stuff coming, man.
Dope. I really appreciate you for
brother.
the time, man.
Of course,
Seriously.
man.
Real humble, awesome, because I literally just DM'd him. It was like, hey, can we get this together? And he did.
Man.
So, insane. It's always crazy meeting individuals and being able to like expose to their real level of humility. So, really appreciate you.
Yeah,
seriously.
it makes you realize the internet's not real.
Yeah, not real at all, dude.
I'm not some demon.
Another human being.
Yeah, me and Theo don't hate each other. Me and Bobby don't have beef.
dude.
It might be disappointing for people. They're like, oh man, really? Like, yeah, there's none of that, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Yeah, of course, brother.
Got a hoodie for you. This is my podcast and card.
Thanks, brother.
And then we're good to cut.